Do you know something most people don't? Nike didn't start as a shoe company, and it almost died before anyone even cared. Most people think Nike was always powerful, always rich, always winning. But that's not true. Nike started broke, ignored, and just seconds away from collapse. And here's the crazy part. One decision saved everything. This is the real story of Nike. Back in the early 1960s, Nike didn't exist. There was no swoosh, no just do it, no billion-dollar empire. There was only a quiet, obsessed runner named Phil Knight. Phil wasn't famous, he wasn't a star athlete, and he definitely wasn't rich. He was just someone who loved running and hated expensive shoes. At the time, Adidas and Puma controlled everything. If you wanted good running shoes, you paid a lot. Phil kept asking himself one simple question. What if great shoes didn't have to be expensive? That question changed his life. Phil borrowed just $50 from his father and started importing running shoes from Japan. No office, no employees, no backup plan. He sold shoes straight from the trunk of his car at track meets. Some days, he sold nothing. Some people laughed at him. But sometimes, people loved the shoes. Those shoes became Blue Ribbon Sports, the company that would later become Nike. But here's the part nobody talks about. Nike didn't grow smoothly. It almost collapsed over and over again. They had sales, but no cash. Money came in and went out just as fast. Banks didn't trust them. Investors didn't understand them. Nike was growing quickly, but drowning at the same time. Phil Knight later said something shocking. Every year, we were just weeks away from bankruptcy. Then came the moment that almost killed the company. The Japanese supplier Nike depended on cut them off. No warning, no mercy. Nike had no factory, no backup. The company was about to die. So they made a risky decision. They decided to make their own shoes. No experience, no guarantees, just belief. And that's when everything changed. One of Nike's early employees, Bill Bowerman, was obsessed with making shoes lighter and faster. One morning, he poured rubber into his wife's waffle iron. It wasn't planned, it was a mistake. But that mistake created a new sole pattern. Lighter, stronger, different. That waffle sole became legendary. For the first time, Nike had something unique. But even then, Nike still wasn't winning. So they did something no brand had done before. They stopped selling shoes and started selling identity. They signed athletes, not just to promote products, but to represent an attitude. Steve Prefontaine, then others. Nike wasn't about sports anymore. Nike was about rebellion, confidence, belief. Still, success wasn't guaranteed. In the 1980s, Nike almost lost everything again. Sales dropped, competitors caught up, Nike started to feel old. Then came a decision that terrified everyone. They partnered with a young, risky, emotional player, Michael Jordan. At the time, Jordan wanted Adidas. Nike was his third choice. Nike bet everything on him, and that bet created Air Jordan, a shoe so powerful the NBA tried to ban it. Nike didn't panic. They turned the ban into marketing, and sales exploded. Soon after, 3 words changed advertising forever. Just do it. That line wasn't about sports, it was about life, fear, doubt, action. Nike became more than a brand, it became a mindset. But Nike's story isn't just about winning. There were controversies, sweatshop accusations, public backlash, global criticism. Once again, people said, this is the end of Nike.
But Nike didn't hide. They changed how they operated. They adapted. They survived. Today, Nike is everywhere. Shoes, clothing, culture. Athletes, artists, everyday people. Nike doesn't just sell products. Nike sells belief. Belief that you're capable. Belief that you're enough. Belief that action matters.
And the biggest lesson from Nike is this. They weren't the smartest. They weren't the richest. They weren't the safest. They were the most persistent. From selling shoes out of a car trunk to a waffle iron to a global empire. Nike didn't win by playing safe. They won by betting on belief. This is Nike. This is money mechanics.